I just started searching for a job as a developer and I got 7 job interviews in one weekend. What am I doing right and what are some people doing wrong? Let's get into it. All right, guys. So basically this strategy works for anyone who is looking to get into a job and is applying to a bunch of jobs and just not getting interviews for whatever reason. So I'm going to give you guys this, all right? An effective job application strategy for success. So the first thing that you got to do is change the mindset. I know a lot of times people tell you just apply to every job that's out there, see which one calls you, which one actually goes in and gives you an interview. Again, you got to change that mindset. It's not about targeting, a whole bunch of jobs, but it's actually going for the right jobs, right? I've seen people online, they be like, well, I applied to 500 jobs. I'm like, how do you apply to 500 jobs and didn't get one of them? Like, that's bad. That means there's something there missing or you're doing it completely wrong. So again, focus on quality over quantity. Focus on the right jobs that you really want and that's worth your time for you to even go and apply. Another thing too is targeting the right roles, identifying the roles that closely match your skills and also too your work history. Now, if you've never worked before, I mean, that's a different story. You've never done anything before. I understand it's a little bit hard, but if you have any type of job before, shoot, you worked in food, right? Restaurant, you worked on fast food, you worked in a hospital, you worked anywhere. Focus on those industries because guess what? Even though you're applying to a role as a developer or you're applying as a designer, for example, you have knowledge of that industry that allows you to go ahead of everyone else. For me, the type of jobs that I'm applying to are jobs within e-commerce, email development, right? And marketing in that space, right? So anything that has to do with that, right? I can go in and apply and feel comfortable that guess what? They're still going to look at my portfolio, look at my resume because I come from that industry. I'm not applying to fintech. I'm not applying to entertainment or some random industry. I'm applying to the things that I already have knowledge of and I understand that industry. Even though I'm a developer, I still need to have some type of knowledge of the industry itself. Now, I'm not saying don't apply to other jobs that don't match your work history or experience. Is just have them on the back burner. First, focus on the ones that are almost guaranteed to give you a chance because of your background. And then try everything else, other industries that you've never worked for. Okay, right? So again, I'm also taking the approach of I'm marketing myself. You have to think of your portfolio as something that, it's a landing page. Look at most of the landing pages that's out here, right? You got to catch the person's attention on the top of the page. From there, you have the job title. Confirm to those people that guess what, this role that you're applying to, this is what you do. If I go to a portfolio and I'm looking to hire somebody to come in and maybe do Shopify development or maybe become a front-end developer, what does a Python freaking game has to do with this job, right? What does, let's say, I don't know, some random application that you build connected to some random API, what does that have to do with healthcare, right? Like, in a sense, like, you got to think about how you're going to sell yourself and how you're going to connect your skills and your experience to that specific job. Now, let's continue with this, right? Your resume, your portfolio, tailor the resume for each role. Highlight the relevant skills first, incorporate job description keywords, and optimize your LinkedIn for visibility. So what do I mean by this, right? This is something that I did, right? So I basically wrote out a resume that matches everything that I've done in my career. Now, again, I do have over 10 years experience as a developer. So again, bear with me. And you might say, well, of course, you got a bunch of interviews. Well, I can tell you, go on TikTok, go on YouTube, you'll find a bunch of senior level developers that worked at major companies and they can get one job in one interview. How did I do this in one weekend? I'm doing it completely different than them. All right. I'm tailoring my resume for each role and using a resume that I built, which is in a sense a generic resume that has all of the skills, all of the things that I've ever done before, right, in companies, and then I'm feeding that to AI, ChatGPT. Now, the next step is I go in, once I already found the type of jobs that I know I'm a match with, I go and take that same resume that I have, which is a generic resume with just all of my skills and my experience, and then I go in and feed the AI that specific job description, where now my experience and the things that they're exactly looking for, now I'm creating a brand new resume and tailoring it for them with the right keywords, with the right focus. And from there, that allows me to go through the ATS bots and also to, match that job more efficiently. Now, again, for anybody that's wondering how to build a resume that actually go through the ATS bots, I'm going to put a link below. Go check out this platform, entryleveljobs.ai. In there, they have a whole bunch of jobs that are geared towards people who want to get hired now. Okay. And also too has a resume builder that is proven to go through ATS bots, that has been tested. So definitely check out the links on the description for that. Okay, streamlining the cover letter with creation with AI. Okay, this is another thing that you got to go in and do. Same thing that I did with a resume, right? I created a generic resume, just highlighting all of my skills, everything that I've done for every single job that I've ever worked for. But then from there, I go in and I take that resume, I feed it to the AI and say, hey, generate a cover letter for me for this specific role. I'm applying as an email developer. I'm applying as a Shopify developer, and generate generic cover letters for each role that you're going for. I'm not saying every single title, is just categories, right? Email developer, Shopify developer, integrations engineer, software engineer. Like, create a generic cover letter reading through all of your resume. And then now, once you have those generic cover letters are going to be your starting point for when you're creating a cover letter for a specific job. So you do that, let's say for 4 or 5 times, right, of the type of jobs that you're going for and you're applying to. But then now you have that starting point where you can now customize it to the specific job. So after I do that, right, I look at the job description, I copy the whole job description and say, hey, ChatGPT, take this specific cover letter, which is for software engineer, and help me write a cover letter matching this specific job. This allows me to basically communicate the skills and the experience that I have much better in targeting it for that specific job. So let's talk about the results. Did I achieve the result that I wanted out of this? Very simple. Using this strategy, I was able to get 7 interviews. Now, again, there's people applying to thousands of applications, hundreds of applications, and they're not even getting 1 call. So that allowed me to now say, you know what? We achieved our goal. Now, with that being said, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to get the job. No one has anything guaranteed in this world. Always remember that. Even if you have 10 years in the game, always remember it's not guaranteed until you get that offer letter. But what this does is it basically validates you as a developer, as an employee, as somebody looking for a job, where you say, you know what? I'm qualified for this role. And companies believe that I am qualified for this roles and are willing to take their time, half an hour, to go in and go through the interview process with me. Always remember this. Most people don't get hired on their first interview. Once they go into the job market, it takes time. But if you go in and you're only getting 1 interview per month, and we know usually it takes like 5 to 6 interviews, you could be here for 6 months. But if you knock out those little butterflies you get in your stomach, if you knock out, the fear of going back into the job market, searching for a job, what do people think about me, how I'm stumbling over my words, etc., you get over that after 4 or 5 interviews. And if you get that done within a week, 2 weeks in, guess what? It's almost a guarantee that you will get hired within a month to 2 months, okay, at the most. And sometimes it will be way even faster than that. So yes, we basically got the results that we wanted out of this, all right? 7 interviews scheduled in 48 hours, great, okay? Success through preparation. For someone like myself, right? I'm applying to roles that I'm qualified for and I can actually do the job and I could stand out. Sometimes they say, well, you want to be a small fish in a big pond. No, I want to be a big fish on a small pond. So when I show up, I'm the rock star. I don't want to compare myself to everybody. I just want to get paid, right? I want to take care of my family, take care of my kids. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm not trying to, get badges and this, and that from random companies. I could care less about that, right? Also, too, I've prepared myself and put myself in a situation where I'm very comfortable in the sense of, you know what? I could apply to a role that's $85,000. Now, for some of you guys just starting, you might say, damn, $85,000 is a good job. Yes, it's good. But once you have 4 kids, a wife, a house, mortgage, all this stuff, right? $85,000 is not that much. But this is why it's so important to have side income and also to cut out the fat, the shit that's holding you back. I keep seeing so many senior level developers that they were getting 135 in the pandemic. And, now they have 9 months, 10 months eating through their savings and they're not even applying to jobs because they believe they need to make $120,000 and up. Who told you need to make that? Okay. That's what you want. But if the market is not offering that, it's fine. You should find other ways that you can make that, right? So I'm blessed in a situation where, you know what? I don't even care, right? Most of these jobs that I got interviews for are from $85,000 all the way to $145,000, right? So I'm not even expecting 200, 300. I could do that, but then also too comes with other responsibilities and other things that could affect the things that I do in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's very important to have work-life balance. So that's my number one priority. Not only am I applying to the right jobs, but I'm also looking through the job, and the company's culture to see what their life is like for a developer or, an employee there in general. How are they treating their employees, right? And that's why it's so important to always have savings and always have, side income. So you're not depending on just one thing. So you could choose the job that you want to go to instead of you having to choose whatever job gives you an opportunity because now you need to pay bills. Always prepare yourself. So success through preparation and focus. Okay. So again, roles that are, 85 to 140, right? I've seen some roles that's like 180. But guess what? Maybe if I go to the interview, I might ask for 150. I don't need to ask for the 180. I'll get the 150. I'm fine with that. Okay. Sometimes you got to prepare yourself for this. Now, again, this is an employer's market, but as employees, if you're going to go into this job market, you have to understand that a lot of leverage they have it on their side. So you got to make it work. Now, leverage and confidence boost, right? It gives you a boost when you start getting interviews. It does, right? I mean, think about it like this. Like officially, I started looking for a job this past weekend and already got 7 interviews. Right? That just gives you a boost. Like, yeah, we back. You get what I'm saying? So again, it sucks when you go in and you start applying to jobs. You got a month, 2 months, and you haven't even gotten one interview. You haven't even gotten nobody to go in and call you. This is why you got to use the strategy to make sure that you get the most of it, right? Because also, too, it just kills your whole mood. I've seen it, right? This is what I do. I've been helping people learn how to code, get into the tech industry. I've seen the process of when people go in and they're excited and they start getting interviews right away. And I've seen the process of people that, for whatever reason, whatever is happening, they're not getting the job interviews or job opportunities right away, and you start seeing the energy go down, go down, go down. This happens to even senior level developers. I've seen it. Go look on TikTok. Go look on YouTube. There's guys that right now they were working at Google. They got laid off, and they're expecting another company as big as Google. And because they're not getting those opportunities right now for whatever reason and how the economy is, etc., now they're a year and a half in, 2 years in, without a job, eating through their savings. Always remember this, guys. You can go in and have a nice chunk of change in savings, but if you're not having any type of income coming in, you're going to eat through it. And then now that's when depression, that's when all of the problems is gonna come in. It's much better to say, you know what, I got 100,000 in savings, I don't know, 80,000 on my 401k or whatever it is, right? And now I'm bringing in 90,000 or 100,000 instead of making 140, 180, whatever it might be. Now you're still bringing in some change, and your savings for whenever you need it, now you could dip into it, right? But with this, you should be able to pay your bills or contribute. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a year and a half and you haven't found a job, yeah, bro, like you eating through your savings right now. And soon it's gonna go to zero. So, put leverage and confidence, right? And give you a boost by actually following this strategy. Okay, guys? So takeaway, focus on quality application, tailor each application carefully, treat application as a pitch, okay? And batch applications for momentum, okay? That's just what you got to do with this strategy, and it works. Now, guys, if you want to learn how to code, or you're struggling to get your first job in the tech industry, or even if you are already a developer that already worked, but for whatever reason you can't find a job out here in this market, you need to come to CodingPhase.com. This is what we do. We help people get into the game, all right? There's a bunch of strategies that we use. There's a bunch of things that we basically do for every single student. If you are a beginner, we have a plan for you. If you are somebody that already has a couple of years of experience, we have a plan for you. It's not wrong to get help, okay? Sometimes, we want to do everything ourselves, but guess what? If you want to find success, just like a couple of the students in here, right? Shout out to everybody that's in here in the Hall of Fame. You got to come into CodingPhase. Take advantage. 50% off right now on CodingPhase.com. Limited time only. It's a summer sale. The summer is about to be over. Once it touches September 1st, there is no more summer. We're back in school. We're back in work mode. That's it. That's the summer sale. Take advantage. Literally $1.50 a day, right? Or 50 cents if you sign up for the whole year. You 50 cents a day. Okay, this is very affordable, very cheap, okay? And we basically provide you with all the courses, the mentorship program. We basically give you a lot of things that no one else would do unless it's for thousands of dollars. And we basically give it to you guys at a very affordable price. Again, we want to help people out.